How's it going, everybody? I'm Nolan Guthrie, and I'm again with Chris Owings, and Cory McClymans is back there filming because he's amazing at it. And it is week 2 of Weed Awareness Month, and this is our second video. We're doing a video every Thursday, and we'll have another one next Thursday for you. But today we're going to talk about all the organic weed killers that we carry at Zamzows, because there's been a lot of advancement in weed control when it comes to organics. So
yeah, just in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But before we get into that, Chris, I got an extra seat for you so that you're not quite there. Now Cory doesn't have to adjust
Just the camera.
quite as much.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now my feet don't touch the ground. So if I fall off.
Okay, I'll catch it. Don't worry. I got you. All right. So I think the place to start is in the past. The first organic weed control I ever remember dealing with was something like the Burnout or the vinegar, right? A vinegar oil, not vinegar oil. That's not. But that's the first one I can remember ever dealing with, right? And we only had a non-selective herbicide to choose from when it came to an organic herbicide. So we were really limited in how we could use them in the landscape. It was really like it kills everything or you can't use it.
Right.
You know, so we couldn't use it in the lawn. But things have really changed, and so we're going to go through some of those things and just talk about the differences between these new products and when and where you might want to use them. So let's start over here with pulverized, because I feel like this is kind of the one I've been the most impressed with as far as like performance.
Absolutely.
When it comes to organic. So what's the first one we have here?
So the first one is a weed and grass killer. So like we said, that's a non-selective. Whatever you spray it on, it will kill it.
Yeah.
It's more of a leaf stripping, so it burns that outer layer of the leaf. So that's, you know, the good and the bad with these is that this will work in this cold weather right now. The bad is if that root is established, like if you're spraying a dandelion that was there last year and you're spraying it this year, that root's really developed. So it might take 2 applications with this to actually kill it, but it will work in this 40-degree weather we're having.
Yeah, and I think that's really imperative for a lot of weeds this early. If you can start spraying as soon as possible, it makes it a lot easier to control them long term. Yeah. So the next one that Pulverize has is the brush killer. And so this one's just even a little bit stronger. And then this one also has, it's also non-selective, so it's going to kill anything you spray it on, but it also has a growth inhibitor. So for some of those viney weeds, it will work a little bit better to control them long term. So it's actually going to slow down the growth so that they can't really recover, at least as quickly. I did a test on this on some really tough weeds. I've had some problems with bindweed in a couple of my beds. I tried this, it worked really well, and it slowed it down quite a bit. Didn't really give me the knockdown I was hoping for. I did get some other control with some other products that we'll talk about here in a second. But for a lot of your other tougher weeds, like some of your brambles that aren't as fast to kind of regrow, it's going to work really well for you. So this is a good one. So then the next one, and this is where it kind of really, I think the biggest advancement when it comes to weed control is the pulverized that's good for weed killer for in the lawn. So in the past, like I was saying, we didn't have an option for this. You couldn't control weeds in the lawn organically. And this is what we get with this one. So this is using an iron based, I don't even know what it's, oil or a soap. Is that how they determine it? I can't remember. But it's iron based.
Yeah, it is iron based.
And a high concentration of iron. Yeah.
And it's interesting. So it would also work for moss. That's another good thing you can use for any kind of iron product. But you can use this in the lawn safely. So for your dandelions, your clover, even some of the ones that might get around the edges like spurge, it's going to work really well. It's going to work fast on as well.
And if you haven't fertilized recently, it's actually going to green that spot that you sprayed because of the iron that's in it.
So you're getting a lot of power with something like this, and being able to take it into the lawn is just a huge game changer with any weed killer. That we broke that barrier is just tremendous. So this I would say Pulverize is probably one of my favorites when it comes to the organic ones. Second. And then we'll talk about Burnout. So I already mentioned Burnout. This one is this an so this one's a little bit different. This is a citric acid, and
Clove
something
oil.
else. Clove
Clove
oil.
oil.
So it
Yep.
smells kind of nice.
Yeah, it smells
It does,
amazing.
yeah, it smells amazing.
And it's also, again, that acid is going to strip the leaf really quickly
Right.
and works fast. But again, this is non-selective. And then again, a weed beater FE is similar to this one. Can be used in the lawn. Is going to control your dandelions, things like that.
Yep, your broadleaf.
Broadleaf
Yep.
weeds. So. And we have a visitor. Hey, Timmy.
Timmy's gonna come join.
And then, kind of just go. So this one is actually a vinegar, which is a little bit different. And actually, the original product we had called Burnout was made by a different company. I think Bonide must have bought the name or something. I'm not 100% sure. But the original Burnout was vinegar, and then for a long time it was gone. You remember that?
Yeah, there was a time with the horticulture vinegar, something was going on.
Yeah, there was
but-
there was some sort of restriction on vinegar. I'm not really sure what it was, but I mean, for a long time we couldn't get it. But it's back now, and this is a 20% vinegar, which is a great solution to use for a weed killer, something that you could use in the garden. Really any of these you could use in the garden, as long as you still have to be protective of your desirable plants, because it will kill them. It's not selective.
Right, has to touch a leaf.
Yeah, but what do you tell us about this one, Chris?
So this is your preventer. So these are all post-emergents, kill the plant.
After the weeds come up.
Yep. This is your pre-emergent, keep the seed from germinating. And all this is corn gluten meal. So again, you lay it down like any other pre-emergent, kind of creates a layer on top of the soil that the weed can't punch through.
Yeah. With corn gluten meal, some people will say it smells a little funky once you get it into the bed. You do have to use it a little more often than you would say something like our crabgrass preventer or some of the other chemical preventers. But it works very well. And you just, it's like a lot of the organic stuff. You got to use a little bit more, got to use it a little more often, but you get that safety, and I think that's the big thing that you're looking for with all of these already. So
I do feel like you downplayed it though, because that stuff is stinky.
is it?
It is. Yeah, I was gonna say, I usually, if they want it around their front door, I usually recommend it.
Yeah,
And the smell dissipates.
Don't.
But, man, for a week you're gonna know
Yeah.
you did
You're
it.
gonna know you
Don't
did it.
put it around your patio where you're going to be sitting,
Yep.
a lot. So, but it is very effective, and it's a great option if you want a preventer for the flower beds and in the garden. So, just remember, no seeds. You can't plant seeds in those areas. So then the next one, as we kind of transition through that, I want to kind of get into the big guns. Some of the things like, so I mentioned I'd had issues with bindweed, and I've had issues with mallow in some places, and thistle in a few spots. So there are some things that are just really tough, and I think trying to control them with these, unfortunately, it's going to be almost cost prohibitive to actually get control of them. So you kind of got to switch gears a little bit. What's really nice is that Decimate came out last year. I think we brought it in.
Yep.
Yeah, we brought it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually been available for a while.
Has it? Okay,
We
so
just
I
learned
used
about it.
I used Decimate last year on some of that mallow and thistle, thistle and bindweed. And I'll tell you what, this worked better than a Roundup. It was so controlling of all those weeds. The one thing I did notice is that it's a lot slower. So if you're using some of these, you'll notice it works very quickly. But I think there's something to its slow action that actually did a better job of keeping them from coming back, because it was continuing to kill them further into the root and taking it a long time to recover. So Decimate, this isn't exactly an organic. I don't think they label it as an organic,
It's naturally derived.
but it's naturally derived. So when it comes to getting rid of some of your other heavy duty weed killers, you can't go wrong with this one. It's fantastic. It is non-selective, so it is going to kill anything you spray it on, but it will work really well. Just expect it to be slow. Even when it's warm, it will take probably 7 days before you're really noticing anything. But what you'll notice is that after 7 days, it's really starting to burn up, and then you're not going to see anything come back. Whereas when I use the pulverize and things, it would burn them down really quick, and then you'd have about 5 to 7 days where there was nothing, and then boom, they were right back. So this one is going to continue to kill. I would say it probably was killing for about 10 to 14, even 20 days before I saw any new germ or
Especially
sprouting.
grasses. Grasses are slow.
And I think this is probably one of our best big gun, what I would call a big gun product when it comes to weed control. And it's about as close as natural as you can get.
Yeah, it works like Roundup. It mixes like Roundup, but there's no glyphosate in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The chemical everybody's worried about.
Right.
Yeah, not there.
It's a great replacement.
It's a very good one. And thanks for watching. Remember, you can get your weed awareness shirts at any of the Zamzows as long as they still have them. I think they're $15 a piece. Chris isn't wearing his because they don't make them small enough.
Right, I think you need to show them the back.
Oh, okay. I'll show them the back. Year 2, Weed Awareness Month. What was that?
Nice job, Vanna.
All right. Well, thanks again for watching, everybody. Appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon.